Today, we are diving deep into the rainforest to talk about one of nature's absolute weirdest, most fascinating creations, the zombie ant fungus. Yeah, you heard that right. It's a tiny little puppet master that can literally control minds. I mean, think about it. It sounds like something straight out of a horror movie, right? But what if I told you that for some unlucky creatures on this planet, this isn't fiction? It's their terrifying reality. Let's get into how this thing actually pulls it off. Okay, so a lot of us have seen shows like The Last of Us, and it's brought this whole idea of a cordyceps fungus into the spotlight. But as it so often happens, the real science behind it is somehow even stranger and way more fascinating than anything you could see on TV. Now, this isn't some new threat. It's an ancient biological arms race that's been going on for millions of years. In fact, the legendary naturalist Alfred Russel Wallace was the first to document this way back in 1859. So yeah, this fungus has had a very long time to perfect its craft. So how in the world does a simple fungus manage to hijack a living, breathing ant? Well, the process is incredibly methodical, it's super precise, and honestly, it unfolds like a perfectly planned microscopic heist. It all boils down to 4 terrifying steps. First up, infection. A single tiny spore lands on an ant that's just minding its own business, and it drills right through its tough outer shell. Next, manipulation. Once it's inside, the fungus spreads like a web, and it starts telling the ant what to do, forcing it to leave its home and climb up a nearby plant. Then comes the final chilling act, the death grip. The fungus makes the ant bite down on the underside of a leaf with so much force that it can never let go. And finally, reproduction. After the ant dies, a stalk, a fruiting body, erupts from the back of the ant's head, ready to rain down a whole new generation of spores onto the unsuspecting colony below. And this whole takeover, from the moment of infection to the ant's death, it's pretty quick. It only takes about 4 to 10 days. But here's the really mind-blowing part. We know this has been happening for an incredibly long time. Scientists found a 48-million-year-old fossilized leaf in Germany with the exact same dumbbell-shaped bite marks left by an infected ant. This parasitic dance is ancient. And this location? It is anything but random. The fungus is a master manipulator. It forces the ant to die in the perfect spot for its own survival. We're talking about 26 centimeters off the ground, where the temperature is a cozy 20 to 30 degrees Celsius, and the humidity is a super high 94 to 95%. It's the ideal little incubator for the fungus to grow and spread its spores. The level of precision is just astonishing.
You know, scientists actually have a really cool name for this. It's called an extended phenotype. It basically means that the ant's bizarre, zombie-like behavior, that's a direct expression of the fungus's genes. The fungus is literally extending its own characteristics into its host, turning the ant into a little remote-controlled vehicle for its own survival.
So this leads to the most obvious and fascinating question of all, right? How does it get into the ant's brain to pull all this off? Well, the answer is one of the biggest surprises in this whole crazy story. Here's the twist. It doesn't touch the brain. In a pretty shocking discovery, researchers found that the fungus leaves the brain completely unharmed. Instead, it creates a network around the brain and invades the ant's muscles directly. It's not possessing the ant's mind, it's a puppeteer, pulling the strings of the ant's body while its brain is, for all intents and purposes, a prisoner inside its own body. But hold on, the story doesn't stop there. Just when you think this fungus is the ultimate manipulator, nature throws in another layer of complexity, another twist in this microscopic drama. I mean, with a strategy this sophisticated, you'd think the zombie ant fungus would be completely unstoppable, right? Like, it could just wipe out entire ant colonies. But it turns out it has a predator of its own. And that's right, it's a wild concept. Scientists have discovered what they call a hyperparasite, another fungus whose entire job is to prey on the zombie ant fungus. And you can see the difference so clearly here. On the left, you've got a healthy fungal stalk, ready to do its thing.
But on the right, you see one that's been attacked. The hyperparasite covers the stalk in this weird, snowy coating, which basically sterilizes the zombie fungus. It completely stops it from being able to release its spores.
And the impact of this is staggering. This anti-zombie fungus neutralizes the vast majority of them. Get this, only about 6.5% of the stalks ever get to release viable spores. It's nature's own system of checks and balances, and it keeps the zombie fungus from getting too successful and wiping out its own food source.
Okay, now we're getting to the question that has probably been on your mind since I said the words zombie fungus, especially with everything in pop culture right now. Could this happen to us?
Is this whole microscopic horror story a preview of a real-life zombie apocalypse for humanity?
And the answer, thankfully, is a very clear, very loud no. And the science behind that is actually pretty solid, so you can relax. For one, our internal body temperature is just way too hot for it. Most fungi, including this one, just can't handle the heat. Secondly, our biology is just worlds apart from an insect's. But maybe the most important reason is that this fungus is an extreme specialist. After 48 million years of evolution, it's become so perfectly tuned to its specific ant host that it usually can't even infect a different species of ant living right next door, never mind something as different as a human.
So if we don't have to be afraid of it, is there anything we can actually learn from it? And the answer, surprisingly, is yes. This little natural-born killer might actually hold the key to a whole new generation of medicines.
See, to control the ant and protect its new home from other bacteria and fungi, it produces this whole cocktail of unique chemical compounds. And those compounds are exactly what scientists are so excited about. They're being studied as potential sources for new anti-malarial drugs, anti-cancer agents, even treatments for high cholesterol. So the killer, it turns out, might also be a healer.
It's just a powerful reminder of how complex nature is. A microbiologist who studies these fungi, Carissa de Becker, leaves us with this pretty provocative thought. In the end, we will all be eaten by fungi. And, it's a little chilling, but it's also a profound truth about the cycle of life and the huge, often hidden power that fungi have all around us.